Well, it looks like the SEC is now officially on watch from a government watchdog group, and I'm going to tell you about what they're doing to look into Jay Clayton, William Hinman, and Mark Berger, who were all a part of the SEC when they brought this case against Ripple. I'm going to tell you what they're actually going after and how they're going about it. And in XRP news, I have some takes that a few traders on TradingView are now saying about what is going to happen to XRP, or what could be happening to XRP in the next couple of weeks. I also have a technical analysis to bring you, which kind of matches up with what these traders are saying. So I have a little bit of a short-term prediction, which kind of matches up with my last video, but I can tell you what it is. Also, I'm going to review what some people are saying about this market cycle and when they think it could actually peak. There's a couple, including BitBoy Crypto, who's one of the more influential people in this space, that claims that this bull run is actually going to end in about the next 6 weeks. So I'm going to take a look at what some other people are saying, get their takes on it, and match it up against why he's saying that September 25th is actually going to be the peak of this market cycle. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel, we are covering cryptocurrency news, investment markets, personal finance, and of course the case of the SEC versus Ripple. So if any of those topics interest you, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell notification icon, and if you're feeling really generous, I'd really appreciate it if you go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Helps out with that algorithm and basically just tells YouTube to share this video with new audiences. The other thing that you can do to support a YouTube channel like this is by watching the video all the way to the end. It's honestly one of the best things that you can do. So I'm actually going to start off with a take by BitBoy Crypto, who is now saying that the end of this market cycle, this bull run, is going to end on September 25th, approximately 6 weeks from now. So he's using what he calls the golden ratio, which is basically what some people have been doing when tracking Bitcoin and tracking the bull markets and the bear markets throughout these different market cycles all the way back from 2013. Now he basically uses one chart to do this, and where they measure basically how many weekly candles it takes from the cycle bottom to the halving event, where the amount of Bitcoin entering the system is cut in half, the reward given to miners, and then showing approximately that same time frame from that halving event to the market peak. Well, if you do that math, his take is that September 25th is basically going to be the peak. But here's the thing. If Bitcoin is not setting all-time highs by then in the next 6 weeks, then that analysis is pretty much invalidated. But even if it does go to all-time highs before that, it still doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the peak of this market cycle, as there are plenty of indicators that indicate it could go well into January, February, and some say even March. Now, if you watch my channel for some time, I'm looking at some of the indicators and some of the analysis that says it's going to be later in the year, December, probably January, maybe even February, that this market cycle would actually peak. And so there's a lot of people that do not like BitBoy Crypto's take on things, but he's been following this industry for a long time. He's been charting these cycles since way back in 2013. And so a lot of the things that he says do match up. However, this market cycle is different, because the one thing that this market cycle is doing that previous ones didn't is that in this market cycle, tracking the overall amount of money in this space, in the crypto space, when you now include things like all these altcoins that are now worth tens of billions of dollars. You can now include DeFi, which has a ton of money staked in these decentralized exchanges. And not only that, the Bitcoin dominance has gone dramatically down, and I did see somebody else that just tweeted out yesterday that they think Bitcoin dominance will never go above 60% again. And some of the other market cycles, Bitcoin had a dominance, meaning all the money in crypto was largely in Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a dominance of close to 90% in some cycles. It's really tough for me to see that this crypto space, this bull run, could be ending in the next 6 weeks, especially now that we have 2 altcoins that just set all-time highs, and there's a few others that look like they're on their way. But there's a whole nother set of indicators that look at the amount of Bitcoin that are on exchanges, which is extremely, extremely low, meaning people are not looking to sell Bitcoin anytime soon. And when that happens, typically that signals prices going up. And when that happens, FOMO kicks in and people want to buy even more. And from what I see watching other people's videos and Twitter and things like that, I just see the end of the year, December, January, February, being the much more likely time frame for this market to go up. But I could be wrong. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think this market cycle is going to do. Do you think the top already happened, or do you think the top is going to happen in the next 6 weeks, or Do you think that top is much further down the road, December to February? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so to the SEC versus Ripple case, we have some interesting news here that's now coming up. There is a government watchdog agency called Empower Oversight, and what they did was they recently filed what's known as a Freedom of Information Act request, meaning you can actually file one of these FOIAs to the government, and you're supposed to be able to get the documents that you're looking for. So Empower Oversight did that, specifically looking for documents relating to Jay Clayton, William Hinman, and Burger. And what are they going to be looking for? Well, they're going to be looking for the big conflict of interest that guys like John Deaton, who's an outside attorney that's been looking at this Ripple case since it started, and saying that there's a huge conflict of interest between the people that were in power at the SEC. Jay Clayton, William Hinman were the chairs of the SEC that deemed Ethereum is not a security, even if it was their personal opinions, and their legal clients at the time outside of their work at the SEC, they actually used to make tens of millions of dollars on in the crypto space because of their opinions about Ethereum and Bitcoin while they were in charge of the SEC. I'm telling you, they're going to make a movie about this one day. So I can't wait to see what these Freedom of Information Act papers actually turn up. Because here's the thing. James Filan, who was another outside attorney on Twitter following this case, somebody asked if Ripple had actually done these Freedom of Information Act requests. And he said, yes, they did. They actually filed one back in January. Don't know if they actually got anything back yet. And here's the thing. If you're in a case with the SEC and the judge tells the SEC that they have to turn over certain things and they basically ignore the judge 3 times, it's highly unlikely that these Freedom of Information Act requests are going to go anywhere. That's just my opinion. They're probably going to ignore it just like they do the judge. But that looks like it could come back to bite them in the butt if there's enough pressure. We'll see. All right, so what is that doing to XRP? Well, in my last video, I talked about XRP's big run the last week or so. There's a lot of technical analysis, of course, as to show why. And in my belief, I think it's some of which because people are now following this SEC case a little more closely and just seeing that the SEC is absolutely getting wrecked. It's tilting it is tilting in the direction of Ripple, that they look like they should win the case even if it does go to trial. If not, they could settle, but who really knows at this point? But there's a few other indicators that suggest some people are just buying based on the technical indicators, such as what the day traders are talking about when they're looking at XRP. So on TradingView, there was a trader who basically said, according to his analysis, XRP is basically a pressure cooker waiting to explode. And there was a few things he looked at. Number one, where the buyers are buying into XRP and how many of them are buying into XRP. And number two, some of the chart formations, one of which was identified as a cup and handle formation, which typically signals that the price is going to go up, at least according to these chart analysts. And so one of those predictions for the short term was $3.20 for XRP. Now, I looked at a couple others. I looked at Blockchain Backer, and he's basically saying that after this big run-up, of course, there's going to be a pullback. And a lot of people were actually saying the same thing about Bitcoin and the rest of the space for the next couple of weeks. He said more than likely it's going to trade kind of back and forth. It's not really going to go up or down. It's just kind of basically trade sideways for the next couple of weeks. But in his opinion, that's the Blockchain Backer, it is absolutely going to move to the upside after that. And that falls right in step with what some of the others are predicting, even if BitBoy Crypto is right and this market cycle is going to end in 6 weeks. Well, the next 6 weeks could be absolutely astronomical for a bunch of altcoins. So even though we've seen Solana go through and break all-time highs, they of course pulled back a little bit. We also saw Vechain climbing extremely high, now pulling back a little bit. And of course, Bitcoin has pulled back to just under 45,000 now at this point. But as I've been reading, that is to be expected as some profits are being taken. So let me know in the comments section below, do you think XRP is going to be in the $3 range in the short term? Or do you think it's basically going to trade sideways for the next couple of weeks before it starts its next leg up? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you are new to the channel and you want to follow along with any of these topics, make sure you're subscribed. So hit the subscribe button, hit the community tab on my channel. I put out polls there, several per week, and I love to know what the late night grind community thinks about all this. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching. And once again, I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next video.